Good morning. It's Saturday, November 23rd. Trying to keep track of all these dates. I think it's like 9 in the morning or so. I've put a little time into thinking what the plan is going to be for today. What I'd like to do is to paint the door first and then glue on this, so I'll have a nice clean edge where the molding meets. And I could do that. All I'd have to do is put like a scratch mark here all the way around, so I have a good clear line of where the molding ends, and I can put tape on the door without the molding in place. Paint the door, let it cure, and then remove the tape, put the molding on, and the last step is going to be, I want to round off these edges a little bit with the router all the way around, just to take some of the harshness out of it. But I don't have the paint, and we're coming up against Thanksgiving and like time and stuff, so maybe if I'm lucky I'll be able to buy the paint next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, sometime there before the holiday. And then the weekend after Thanksgiving I'm going to be busy, so maybe the first week of December I'll be able to get back on this thing. So in order to keep things moving along, I think what I'll do is go ahead and glue this on first and just do an extra good job of cleaning out the residue of the adhesive from here, so when it does come time to paint, I can get paint all the way up to the edge, and after the paint is dry I can come by with a little thin bead of caulk just to make it look nice. That'll work. So I can work on the door today. I can give it a sand and glue this on, get the trim done. That's not going to take me that long to do that. I can put some time into this with the wood filler and the one on the top, so I can stop having to look at that mess. And what else? Maybe I'll get this stuff painted up, because that's been a real annoyance to me that this has been out in the weather. And then also get that thing final installed. Now I do have more of this paint left over, and I want to paint that to match the bus, so I can paint that before I do the final install. So before I can do any of that, I got to clean up that and be thankful I'm not doing that, what my neighbor's into right now. Holy crap. He's into some deep, I don't know what he's doing over there. Alright, here we go. Okay guys, check it out. I cut a little sliver of wood and glued it into the cut, and it's damn near perfect. There's a little bump right there that I like to be able to tap that in with a hammer, but I think it's already set. And there's the one at the top. So how I did that is I just used my sled and a piece of scrap of the same plywood and cut some slivers until I got some that, you know, didn't fall apart. And were the right thickness, and tapped them in there with a little bit of the wood glue. Pretty good, huh? It always takes longer than I think it will. So I ran the router on this. Looks like I need a little bit more sand in there. There's a shiny spot. And then I came back with the file and took off some of the cheddar marks and whatnot. Then I came with a vibrator sander. I gave it a nice finish. So this is kind of ready for polishing, or at least another finer grade of sandpaper anyway. I really do like the rounded corner better. And if you're wondering, where are you? It left plenty of material. Okay, so we got all of our aluminum ready, and I cleaned it with acetone. And I cleaned it with acetone because I was using Tap Magic with the router to help it cut better. So we're getting ready to sand the door, but before I sand the door, I want to go ahead and put these screws in. And these screws are mainly an insurance policy to make sure that the epoxy bond doesn't break, and that they're also going to be decorative. So here's what they're going to look like. These are these large head Phillips stainless screws, and I've got these little plastic washers that go underneath them. So what I figured when I bought those, I was thinking about every 6 inches spacing. 6 inches was a little bit wide, so I narrowed it down. I tried 5 would have worked, and then 4 divided in equally as well. So I'm going with 4. And somehow or another, I ordered 50 screws. I only got 46, but I'll have just enough to do this. We're going to put one in each corner, and then every 4 inches all the way around. Now I kind of had a little bit of a concern here because I didn't want to miss a screw, but I have verified that the screw is going to fit right there and not interfere with the knob. The lock set's even smaller, so that's a non-issue. So now I'm comfortable with how that's going to look. I'm going to double check my depth because I went 3/4 of an inch because that's what my overhang is, and then 3/8 of an inch more to get in the middle of the 1x that is in there. Well, how did I do that? That's one. There's no extra 1x here. This is just a 1x4, so it kind of doesn't matter on this one. And it kind of doesn't matter anyway because the stuff is glued so well. But there's a 1x4 here, and then there's a piece of 3/4 inch added to make room for the lock. And that's on both sides, so it's got symmetry. So now I guess what I'm going to do is get out a center punch and punch all these marks, because it's really important to me that they're in a straight line. Then I'll think about how I'm going to drill it. Probably use my drill guide to make sure that the screws are straight up and down. We're getting ready to permanently install our aluminum edging. I've already gone and drilled all my holes, and I went as far as using a larger drill bit with a drill stop to get through the aluminum, so that way when the screw goes through it won't have a tendency to try to pull up on the aluminum, just to be on the safe side. Alright, so the fit on all this stuff is really, really tight. Not tight, but like perfectly flat tight. So if I put adhesive here, it's going to interfere with how far this thing sets in, because it's going to have to compress. So I can't put much at all on this surface, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. Now that I've got the screws here, kind of don't need to bond this thing under anymore because the screws are going to hold it, but I do want to seal this. So I'm certainly going to put a bead right along this very edge before I install that, so it'll be between this and the underside of this. And I would like to go around here just for the sake of being anal retentive and sealing that up, because this is going to be continually getting wet, so we want to seal everything as best as we can. So if I could seal the aluminum around this perimeter with a thin bead on both of those, you know, hey, we're giving it our best shot, right? So we're going to need our screws. And we're going to need our driver. I got my Gorilla adhesive. I've already cleaned the tip. I got mineral spirits in that. I've got paper towels. I should probably bring that box closer. Going on here. Okay. Okay, kind of nervous because you know, every time you do something, there's always a potential of screwing up. Well, it's on. Yeah, it looks good. I'm happy. I tried using isopropyl alcohol as the solvent for the Gorilla Construction adhesive, and it's not quite as aggressive as a solvent as the mineral spirits, but it works fine. And what's nice about it, it does not leave an oily residue, so I'm not getting my surfaces all oily that I want to get painted. So I'll give you a close-up here what we got going on. We're sealed all along the wet side of the hinge. And I'm still contemplating if I should have sealed this side of the hinge. Probably I should. I think I'll put a little bead right there. So, all sealed up. Tighter than a crab's butt. Put construction adhesive underneath all my screws. You can see the line right there where I've wiped it clean. It looks like a little bit of a void there, but that's alright. I know it's up underneath there. Just got a little aggressive with my wiping. Piece of the towel might have slipped underneath while I was wiping. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to be painting this the burgundy color to match the bus, and I'm not going to paint these. I'm going to shine these guys up. So after I paint this, and I guess after I shine these up, I'm going to apply a small bead of a black urethane sealant in this corner, just to kind of make it look a little bit better, because I know it's going to be tough to get a good paint line. You know, since these are not going to be painted, I would prefer to not have paint on that little edge there, but there's no way I'm going to prevent that. So yeah, I'm going to file this little bump down. The reason why that's there is because this piece is at an angle, if you recall, so that way the door will close better. So I'm just going to feather that with the file, and it'll be unnoticeable. Then I'm going to come back with the router. Well, I'm going to file these flat because I got a little bit, I left overhang here for the final finish, like what I'm doing right now for the final fit. So we'll file these flat, and then I'll come back with the router and round this and round that over here on all the corners. And yeah, it'll look great, man. So my plastic washers I got for under my screw heads are 1/16 of an inch thick. I think I would have liked it if they were thinner. I'm going to see if they have thinner ones. I think those were the thinnest ones that I could buy, so I might just have to go with it. All in all, it's been a great day.